What types of problems can you help people with? Is it emotional problems, or what do you mainly do?
You could say all problems are of the mind, and emotions are usually involved with it. What I'm focusing on particularly these days is what we call a Yudin moment. It's one moment that happened some time ago where it felt like a shock. And the Yudins, it's a UDIN, that stands for an unexpected, dramatic, isolating, with no strategy to solve the problem, at least on an emotional level. And this could be at birth, where you get separated straight away from your mother and you're stuck in a kaversa, as you say in Danish. You have no strategy for handling this. Or you're a young child and your parents split up and you're put in a home or something like that. A real shock that you cannot resolve. And these moments, we call a shock moment, stay in your system. You can actually see it on a brain scan, apparently. They stay in your system for life, unless they get released. Now an animal, if an animal gets into a terrifying situation where it's being chased by another animal, whatever, eventually it'll give up and just play dead. And when the other animal goes away, this animal will get up and shake and release all the shock that's in its system, all the hormones or whatever that's going through their body. We don't do that. The way that humans most often release shock is by crying. And if you're a small baby, what we most want, right after birth, for example, is to be lifted up and put on your mother's breast. So you can both release the shock of birth. Mothers have shocks at birth as well. And when you have this skin contact, and then you look into your mother's eyes, this is where the bonding occurs. And then the shock for both gets released, and you both feel very connected and bonded. And it stays that way, unless some other big shock happens later. But when this bonding moment doesn't happen, it never happens. So we feel very separated from our mothers, and many people have this experience. You can use the breath. Well, if you look at the word again, inspire, you know the other meaning of inspire, to be inspired, to have creative ideas. And very often now, if I lie down and do a breathing session, I get inspired in the sense that I get all the ideas of how my next workshop will look, for example. They just ping, 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 they come. Without me, I'm not lying down and say, okay, now I'm going to work out my workshop. You know, I just lie down and suddenly these ideas come. So I'm becoming inspired by the breath.
So I guess your training with the breath influences your daily life. Could you explain how it does that? How do you, what benefits do you get from it in your daily life?
Well, you get much more healthy, for a start. You release your blocks. If you're also working with the forgiveness, with your mind, you become much more content, much more peaceful. And when you're calm, people are much more easily attracted to you. Most people, I mean, some people are attracted to angry people, but in general, you're more attractive to other people because you're not pushing them away unconsciously or even consciously. If you're at peace, things flow much more easily. I've noticed, particularly in the last year or so, so many synchronicities have occurred. Maybe they happened before, I don't know, but I'm certainly noticing them now. Amazing little things that just seem to happen.
Maybe you could explain what synchronicity is if somebody doesn't know.
Okay. Well, I was at the Philosophic Center in Aarhus one day a few months ago, and I cycled there and back, and I'd just done a little rebirthing workshop, And I came out and I suddenly noticed, oh my goodness, it's dark now. You know, we suddenly got into the darkness of winter, and I didn't have my lights for my bike. And I was standing at the desk in the Philosophic Center, and I really said to myself, oh no, I've forgotten my lights. And this guy who works in the kitchen was walking past me, put his hand in his pocket and came out with a brand new packet of these little lamps with elastic band that you can put on your bike. He said, oh, these are for you. Of all the girls in all the towns in all the world, you know, he's standing there with these lamps. And I've had many things like that happen in the last couple of years. It's quite extraordinary.
Yeah. Yeah, I also noticed that you said that 10-day course happened just a week after
Yeah,
you were...
you could say, yeah.
Yeah. But it's been more and more.
I've suddenly noticed that these things seem to be happening a lot lately. Which is great.
Yeah, it's great.